Hey, how are you? Happy Thursday Night Football. I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk about the Baltimore Ravens going to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Finally, a game that we can sink our teeth into. Stick around, I'll be right back. Hey, hello, and welcome back. Thank you. Once again, I'm Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Team Riser Fall to talk about the Ravens heading to Miami to take on the Dolphins. And again, this one is going to be a little bit more presentable than past Thursday Night Football games. I've said it all along. In a way, the NFL just kind of throws us a football game on Thursday, and we take it because it's professional football, and I'm one of those slappies. But this one, Lamar Jackson, Jacoby Brissett on the marquee doesn't look that fun and that crazy, but I'm here to tell you we're going to see a ton of points in this one, and it will be closer than you think. And before we do that, make sure you go to Team Riser Fall, like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. I can't thank all of you enough for all the sharing and the comments and all the great conversations that we're having. I love it when someone looks at my notes or they see this video and they comment and they're questioning what I'm doing, because it's great. It opens up a dialogue where I can tell you exactly what I'm thinking at that moment in time, and I can compare what you're doing. You can compare what I'm doing, and we can come together like Captain Planet. Remember that little ring thing? And they all assembled there, and they took it all on. That's what we're doing here at Team Riser Fall with DFS. Your opinion, my opinion, his opinion, and we come together, and we just attack each DFS slate like we're Captain Planet and the Planeteers, I think was the saying. And to be fair, I came into this video wanting to talk football. Captain Planet wasn't even on my radar, and it just kind of happened as I'm talking here. So we'll go from here. Really fast, I want to go over some betting trends here. That seems to be what I like to do, and everybody likes to hear it here. So get this one. The Baltimore Ravens, they're 9-0 ATS against the spread their last 9 games against Miami. Let me repeat that. Baltimore, they're 9-0 against the spread their last 9 games in Miami. What does that tell you? The total has gone under in 5 of Baltimore's last 6 games on the road. Baltimore's on the road. Here we go. And the total has gone over in 4 of the last 6 games they've played. Miami has played against Baltimore here. And if you look briefly, I know Tua Tagovailoa is not playing tonight. Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback, and we'll get into that. But just if I may here really quick, the Miami Dolphins, they rank 30th in the NFL in rushing offense, only 75.1 yards a game, and they've been unable to do anything on the ground this season after they had some success with it last season, and it's just not doing much for them this year. And let's just get right into the dang video, we're in the video, but let's get into the dang, the players right here. We'll start at Lamar Jackson, Baltimore in Miami. Miami's 27th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Look, whatever his price is, $17,500 on FanDuel, $13,800 on DraftKings. Look, there's no reason to be cute or contrarian. There is absolutely no way around Lamar Jackson this evening, unless if you're going to multi-enter GPPs, if you have 150 lineups in some big GPP, the $1, $2 one, then you can get away from that. But if you're like me or a lot of the folks that are watching this video right now, we don't max enter. At least I don't anymore. So to me, Lamar Jackson, you have to have him. Captain spot, MVP spot, sure, but not necessarily. Just in your lineup in general tonight, must own. There's absolutely no way around that. I have him for about 260 passing yards, which is a bump for Lamar Jackson. We're used to what? 200, 220, something like that. And he kills teams on the ground. And I have him for, let me read this briefly, about 70 yards on the ground. So he'll take off and run 8-9 times. So you're looking at a healthy average per run here, 70 yards or so. And I have him for 2 total touchdowns. Maybe even that's his floor. Let me say 2 touchdowns. That's his floor. 2 in the air, 1 on the ground, and we go from there. Let's talk Jacoby Brissett, Miami hosting the Baltimore Ravens, who are they're 20th overall against opposing quarterbacks. And look, Jacoby Brissett, $14,000 on FanDuel, $9,800 on DraftKings. I've loved everything about this guy since day one. This guy is a gamer. Every time he's put in a position to see meaningful snaps, I hesitate to say he gets it done because they're not winning a ton of games, but he goes in there and he's not a liability. He's not going to ruin your team's chances of winning. He's not going to ruin your DFS team in terms of carries and yardage and things from there. So to me, Jacoby Brissett very much in play this evening. I have him for around 275 passing yards, one, maybe two touchdowns in the air, and then nothing crazy, about 15, maybe 20 yards on the ground here. Let's talk about running backs. I'm going to zoom through some of these because there's several guys and dudes that will ring some bells, but it's an odd situation at running back here this evening. Myles Gaskins versus Baltimore, who is 23rd overall against opposing running backs. Gaskin, 11 grand on FanDuel, $9,400 on DraftKings. I have him for about 12, 13 carries, 50 yards, a touchdown on the ground, and another 4, maybe 5 receptions for 30, 40 yards. I give you kind of a vague window there because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what he's going to do. And if I did, I would probably be on the beach somewhere with my crystal ball betting, and you'd never hear from me again. But that's not the case, so you're kind of stuck with me here. Let's talk Salvon Ahmed briefly. FanDuel, 6 grand on DraftKings, only $800, and to me, he makes for a sweet pivot or salary relief in a salary relief spot at running back this evening. I have him for around 7, 8 carries, 30, maybe 40 yards, and a couple receptions. Nothing crazy, but for $800, you can't go wrong. And as we get to the end of the video, I'll give you my final score prediction, and I'll give you how I'm building with the building blocks, and it's just unbelievable what you can get in with a guy like Salvon Ahmed at the end when you got no cash left. Devonta Freeman, Baltimore Ravens running back in Miami, 19th overall. Miami is against running backs. Freeman, $10,500 on FanDuel, $6,600 on DraftKings. I hate to say it because I know people will play this back, screenshot, whatever you want to do, but Devonta Freeman is just too expensive on FanDuel. We're always looking for touchdown equity, and I just don't think it's there for Freeman tonight. Maybe he gets in the end zone one time, but on a single game slate, you're looking to hit home run after home run. And I believe if you fade Devonta Freeman and he scores a touchdown, it won't matter much. There are so many other ways to go here this evening. So to me, I have him for about 10 carries, 40, maybe 50 yards. So if you want to fade him, have at it. That's what I'm doing, and we'll move on. Le'Veon Bell, $9,500 on FanDuel, $5,400 on DraftKings. Same thing as Freeman, $9,500 on FanDuel is a little bit pricey for me given the touchdown equity. So no go on Le'Veon Bell. Again, 7, 8 carries, 35, maybe 40 yards, 1, 2 receptions, about 10 or 12 yards. You can get away with fading Freeman and Le'Veon Bell in this one and coming out scot-free on the other end. Latavius Murray looks very doubtful, so he 10 grand on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings, doubtful. I have it written in big red letters in the notes here. Now, the two running backs that are kind of question marks, and again, we'll talk through it here, but it's Tyson Williams, $6,000 on FanDuel, $1,200 on DraftKings. Is he going to be a healthy scratch? What are we doing here? So to me, you're going to fully fade Tyson Williams because you never know. No harm, no foul. You fade Tyson and we move on. But Patrick Ricard, from the Starship Enterprise, I believe his dad was a general. I don't know. That was not a good joke. But Patrick, $5,500 on FanDuel, on DraftKings, and even $1,000. Nothing wild here. Maybe 1 or 2 receptions. I don't think this guy sees a carry. So we move on. I'm just trying to cover all my bases here and kind of lead you in the direction of where I'm going. You make your decisions and we go on. Hollywood Brown, he's the one you're going to want this evening. In Miami, they're 30th overall against opposing wide receivers. Big night for Hollywood Brown. $13,500 on FanDuel, rightfully so. 11 grand on DraftKings. 8, 9 targets, 5, 6 receptions. I believe he's well over 80 yards in this one and a touchdown. We'll move on. Roster Hollywood Brown, stack him with Lamar Jackson. I know you're spending your time here with me for 10 minutes, and I'm telling you all like this chalk stuff that you should fully already understand. But let's talk about the rookie Rashad Bateman, FanDuel, $8,500 on DraftKings, $5,800. 7 targets, 4, maybe 5 receptions, 50 yards, 60 at the max here for Bateman. I'm not including him in my number one overall line that I build. Of course, I build several lines, but in my initial build, which is all based on the video, everything I say in the video is what I'm doing for my A1 lineup here. And Rashad Bateman didn't make the cut for that one. Again, to you, absolutely. But to me, given the matchup and given the price tag, I'm going in another direction. Sammy Watkins, he is not that other direction. $7,500 on FanDuel, $5,600 on DraftKings. I know he's been out, he's been hurt, he is still a little questionable, but I do firmly believe he's on the field just enough to kind of drive us nuts. 4 targets, 2 receptions, 30 yards or so. But again, he's going to take away some, he's not going to take away routes, but he's going to take away some, 2, maybe 3 extra targets that we could give to Bateman. Hollywood Brown going to get his, but to me, Sammy Watkins directly kind of, slivers off what Rashad Bateman can do this evening. Let's go down Devin Duvernay, nothing crazy. I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins rookie wide receiver who at this moment in time, he is a healthy receiver for Miami, but he is by far and away the best wide receiver that the Miami Dolphins have at this moment in time. He might be the best player on this Miami Dolphins team at this moment in time, above Brissett, above Gaskin, and that's not even speaking out of school here. Jaylen Waddle versus Baltimore. Baltimore's 11th overall against opposing wide receivers. Waddle, $12,000 on FanDuel, $8,200 on DraftKings. I believe that Brissett and this Miami team just pepper this kid with targets. I'm looking at around 10 to 12-ish targets here. He'll catch around 9 receptions would be awesome. Firmly believe he gets well over 80 yards and a touchdown. He is highlighted in my notes. Pair him with Hollywood Brown, and that's my 1-2 combo here. MVP and then flex and vice versa, as I always do with tight ends, and we'll get there. Why not right now? Mark Andrews in Miami. Miami's 18th overall against opposing tight ends here. Andrews, $13,000 on FanDuel, $8,800 on DraftKings. Andrews, again, another guy going to be peppered with targets. It's going to be the LAMAR, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews show this evening. 8 targets, 5 receptions, 65, maybe 75 yards, and yes, a touchdown. Mike Gesicki, another dude that I love here. I have some weird, I don't know what you would call it here. I have some weird codependency on tight ends when it's a Thursday night football game. And any single game slate, I've been noticing my notes and all my research takes me towards these tight ends, and very much so again tonight. Mike Gesicki, get this, Baltimore's 31st overall against opposing tight ends. So Gesicki, $12,500 on FanDuel. Give me all that. And then on DraftKings, $7,400. I think, this might be shocking, or you might call me names or make fun of me, but I have Gesicki for almost an identical stat line as Mark Andrews here. 7, 8 targets, 5, maybe 6 receptions. The only difference is like a swinging, margin of error of about 5 or 10 yards here. But I do believe Gesicki, 60, maybe 70 yards and a touchdown here. So to me, Lamar Jackson, Hollywood Brown, Jaylen Waddle, Mark Andrews, Mike Gesicki, and then you have some money left over if you want to put in a guy like Salvon Ahmed, and we'll go from there. Kickers, Tucker and Sanders. Of the two, obviously I would prefer Tucker. Miami's 30th overall against opposing kickers. $9,000 on FanDuel, and then $4,000. And Tucker is $4,000 on DraftKings, 2 for 2 in field goals, 3 for 3 extra points, and we go from there. Jason Sanders, absolutely, in play. It's a single game slate, but no thanks. And then in terms of the DSTs only available on DraftKings, I'm going to fade both of these DSTs this evening. And again, I have the Ravens 3-4 sacks. Same thing with the Dolphins, maybe 2 or 3 sacks, an interception apiece, no real fumble recoveries here, and the points against and the points for are so close, I find no real edge in the DSTs this evening. So let's run it down and I'll get you the heck out of here. Lamar Jackson, done deal. Hollywood Brown, $13,500 on FanDuel, $11,000 on DraftKings. Jaylen Waddle, $12,000 on FanDuel, $8,200 on DraftKings. And then both tight ends, Mark Andrews and Mike Gesicki. And that's what I have for you here. In terms of the point spread and the overall play, to me, it's not about either team. It's about the over. It sits at 46.5 right now. I've already booked it. I'm going over 46.5 points here because I have the final score. Baltimore winning this one 31-24. So it's going to be a little bit closer than we think. Maybe it comes down to kind of a last 2 minutes thing. Miami has the ball and they're pushing it and they turn it over on downs or some sort of, last ditch effort interception by Jacoby Brissett. So thank you all for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I've been doing one for every single game slate, and I will continue to do so based on the support and all the messages I get. So I can't thank you enough for that. And while you're here, go to Team Rise or Fall, like, share, subscribe, and go from there. And then as soon as this video is done and out, look for Beastie's notes, which will follow all single videos from this moment on. They're right here. As you can see them highlighted in all its glory, and I just love giving those to you. And again, bottom of the barrel, always free. My single game DFS videos, always free, and Beastie's notes will continue to be free, and that's all because of you. Thank you for all the support. Love you, and I'll see you the same time tomorrow. Let's talk about some college football Saturday. Until then, I'll see you later.